Oregon, first state to require vaccination proof for maskless entry into businesses, workplaces, and churches. So what we're having here is, remember Biden came out on Twitter and essentially said, you have two choices. Either you get the vaccine or you wear the mask, right? That's your choice. You get the vaccine or you wear the mask. A lot of people were wondering how the federal government would be able to tell whether people were adhering to this new policy. CDC guidelines again saying people who have the vaccine don't need to wear face masks, right? And it's going to cause really probably a big stir in this country if they start requiring you to have your vaccine passport anywhere you go if you want to enter an establishment without needing to wear a mask. A lot of people are comparing this to having to wear a yellow star in your shirt or something like this. It creates another class of citizen that has shown that you're adhering somehow to government state policy. And it's going now to the state level, also to the county level. So next story here. It says California county's order requires businesses to track COVID-19 vaccination status of all employees. And so if you're employed in Santa Clara County of California, your business is going to be tracking whether or not you have the vaccine. Epoch Times reports on this. It says health authorities in Santa Clara County, California, said that businesses are now required to determine the vaccination status of employees. So your business is now going to be tracking whether you're vaccinated or not. Now it says the health order allows an employee to decline to hand over their COVID-19 vaccination status to their employer. So in other words, you don't actually have to, show your vaccination status to them. But if the employee decides to decline to give them information, if you don't want to give them your health information, the business should then, quote, should assume the employee may be unvaccinated and follow state and local requirements for unvaccinated employees. Now, the order raises obvious privacy questions. A Bay Area-based lawyer, Sandy Rappaport of Hanson Bridget, told the Mercury News that employers now have to generally keep vaccination statuses of employees confidential. In other words, currently you're not really supposed to be sharing this type of information. They note that with the new order, it seems to mandate that employers disclose employees' vaccination status. In other words, something that's normally not supposed to be disclosed publicly, your health, right? Information your employer might have, they're not supposed to be making public. They can now make public in some form through this order. In other words, it might be illegal. Now, and again, it's because the unvaccinated employees might have to wear masks at work. In other words, the wearing mask or not wearing a mask might qualify as a disclosure of your health status. Something, again, that they're not really supposed to disclose. I want to talk first about one more update with this mask mandate, because now we see even at the legislative level some of this happening. Epoch Times reports that Nancy Pelosi, suggests she may bar unvaccinated, unmasked Republicans from the House floor. And so, folks, if you're in a Republican district, and let's say you're in a state that doesn't require mask mandates, if you're in a state that has maybe even banned mask mandates, and you're depending now, right? You're depending on your local representative to go to Congress and represent you. Your representative may be banned from the House floor if they're not following these COVID guidelines being put into place on the Democrat side of the aisle. It says here, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California, suggested on Friday that Republicans who do not get vaccinated for the CCP virus and defy her mask mandate may be prevented from entering the floor of the House of Representatives and have to cast their votes in a dedicated space in the House gallery. So, in other words, restrictions on the representatives of states, right? The people representing us in Congress being restricted, again, based on these policies, possibly. She's not putting it through yet, she's suggesting it. Again, just like Biden was saying in his tweet, you have two choices. You get the vaccine or you wear the mask. And it seems to be the case currently that the masks are possibly an indefinite thing, that they're going to make you wear this mask indefinitely until you choose to get vaccinated or not. And again, this is creating two classes of people. This is creating the shamed mask wearers and the privileged mask-free folks, right? This is the direction it's going in. We'll have to see if they end up lifting this fully. Again, we'll have to see. An important note on this, though, Texas completely ended its different restrictions. Texas ended the mask mandates, and guess what? Soon after they did that, the death rate of the virus in Texas fell to like pretty much zero. In other words, folks, you have case studies of areas that have fully opened up, ended mask mandates, even barred mask mandates. And guess what's happening? They're not having resurgences of the viruses. Instead, people seem to be healthier in those states and in those areas where they've done that. In other words, folks, this does seem to be more the case of government flexing its muscles in ways that are not justified based on the evidence we've seen. Not justified based on the evidence we've seen of what happens when people choose to not wear masks, that the masks themselves do not seem to make much of a difference. And there's been a lot of different reports on this. We won't go into it tonight, but